And welcome back to the Metroid Prime Let's Play. I edited out a part where I was wandering around a fair bit, so that's why you didn't see me actually go through the door. Not that you probably care.
Yeah, hey, how's it going, everyone? OutlawClient here, back again. I haven't gone anywhere. You can't start the celebrations yet. I'm still here. Anyway,
I think next up is the boss fight, which admittedly I don't care for at all. All the bosses in this game are mediocre at best. Except for the Prime. Metroid
yeah, I
Prime
don't mind.
itself was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't mind the bosses as a whole. Like, I think the bosses were decent. I mean, I think they thought of quite inventive ways of taking them out, as opposed to just the whole shoot it if it moves, shoot at any point. But yeah, no, I commend them for actually putting some strategy into the boss.
Yeah, although a lot of the bosses end up being tedious as a result of some of the layouts. I think
Yeah,
Thardis, Meta
yeah,
Ridley, and Metroid Prime are the only ones that aren't tedious. And maybe Omega Pirate.
yeah. I don't know. For me, Prime, I don't know. I found Prime really tedious, just in my opinion, anyway. But I'll get to that later once we get to that point. I'll explain the exact reasons why. But anyway, oh, how many of the ruins did you scan at that point?
None.
Oh
And
my.
I was like, oh god, why? What's wrong
Yeah, no,
with
we all
me?
make we all make that mistake. No, like you were saying before. Also, I thought as well that you like could scan it and then exit the room and come back. But of course, that isn't the case, and you have to go all the way back down. Yeah, that's the area that I was talking about the first time that I missed the ones underneath those plants.
I can't believe I missed all those. But at least that's dealt with.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't take too long, so it's all good.
Yeah. I am not looking forward to this boss fight.
Yeah,
Granted,
no,
I did clear it faster than I normally do. But
I could really really sense your excitement there.
yeah,
Uh,
just wait till we get to, what is it? I know there's another boss that's more tedious than this, but I can't remember what it was.
hmm. It's funny, didn't they remove was it Kraid? They were going to put Kraid in this game as well, and
Yeah,
they
he's supposed to
removed
be
him
in
at the
like
end.
the Phazon mines or something.
Yeah, that was
And
a
they replaced him with the Omega Pirate.
yeah. I mean, a Mega Pirate isn't too bad, so it's not too much of a loss there. But I mean,
Yeah,
I
he's
don't know. I
not
would
good
have.
either. It's actually insanely easy if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But I mean,
I mean, the worst part is breaking off the armor.
yeah, I don't remember ever having too much trouble with it. But then again, as I said, I was playing the PAL games, and us PAL players were all filthy casuals, of course, so they had to dumb it down for us. But yeah. Anyway, this is what I was talking about in the boss fight. The part that you have to scan. You actually have to scan the tentacle as well. That counts as an individual thing to scan,
Oh,
which
is this
I
the boss
actually
you were talking about?
yeah, yeah, it's funny because you have to scan that tentacle. You know the one blocking the morph ball part? You have to scan that. It counts as an individual enemy, which is what I missed the first time around.
Oh, it explained why I've never been able to achieve a 100% scan run. What's this thing
Yeah.
called again? I guess we're about to find out. I can never remember
Is it
this thing's name.
flagra or flagra or something like there we go. There's the
Agra.
health bar. Flagra. Yeah.
Who named this thing? Samus?
I have absolutely no idea. See, that's the thing I wondered as well. It's like the scanner has the names for all of this stuff, but I'm pretty sure it must be some of the stuff must be completely new. So I don't know. Maybe she pulled a Captain Olimar and names it as she goes along. Who knows?
Possibly. I'm assuming she ripped some of the names just out of logbook stuff, like the Omega Pirate.
Yeah, probably. That would make sense.
Unless she just happens to have the same naming process as the pirates. Which reminds
Imagine.
me, for as barbaric as the Space Pirates act, they sure do write eloquently.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I always thought, like, I always got the impression that when Samus scans it, because it must be in a different language or whatever, it must be in their own language, but I always just imagined that the scan visor, like, changes it, so it's, like, easier to read, maybe. I'm not even sure. But that's just the impression that
Possibly.
I got all the time.
Oh, well, it doesn't seem to do that for, like, Kozo lore or anything.
Yeah,
So it could just be the
that's
Space
true.
Pirates actually do write eloquently.
That is a possibility, which
I,
has
like,
completely changed my perception of the space pirates.
I actually feel kind of bad killing them now, somewhat.
Yeah, I
Except for
mean
the
these
whole
guys, they just
universal annihilation thing.
yeah, yeah. So that's might be a small problem.
I think I actually caught
Might
on
be
to
a
the
small.
appropriate strategy for this round here. Took me a while to
Yeah, no,
realize that I should use its targeting area to strafe.
yeah, yeah. It's this thing. Like I never really found this to be all that complicated. This fight. All I do is like just pretty much the standard, just charge beam to shoot the mirrors up. Also, you can use the missiles as well. I believe those will take it, will put them back up in one hit as well. So it's
I'm curious, when you first fought this
really
thing, did
quite
you
simple.
also just try to fight it itself?
Um, at first I gave it a few shots, but when I saw that it was going yellow and like the health wasn't going down, I thought, yeah, there's probably a bit more strategy behind this. But I mean, I can't remember exactly, but I think I caught on quite quickly. How about you? What was your first experience?
I think I went at it with just the gun for about 10 minutes before I realized it.
Wow.
Also, I'm not really a big fan of how this thing looks either.
Yeah, it's decent. I mean, it reminds me a lot. I don't know if you've played Fantasy Star Online, like episode 1 and 2, but there's one enemy called like the Grass Assassin. I couldn't stop thinking of that. It just looks so similar, so similar to that. But I mean, eh, you don't really see it that for that long in this game anyway. So,
Get wrecked, Flagra.
mm.
Yeah, it took me too long to realize that strategy, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, you dispatched of him quite quickly anyway. So,
Yeah. Well, he's not
it's all good.
particularly hard, he's just tedious, like every boss in this game. Well,
Yeah.
almost every boss in this game. I still really love the Metroid Prime fight itself.
Yeah, I don't know. Mixed feelings for me. Fun fact actually, when I played through this game for my review, I was unfortunate enough to encounter the Metroid Prime glitch where I pretty much couldn't progress throughout the boss battle because of a horrible glitch, but I'll get to that later as well.
Yeah, I actually never heard about that, so definitely do that.
Yeah, actually, it's funny because there was like two different versions of that glitch. Like, I'd never heard of the one that happened to me before, but I heard that there was another type of glitch which prevented you from progressing as well. But either way, both of them stopped you from progressing. So yeah, definitely not a positive. But anyway,
Now we get the Varia suit.
finally back to the various suit.
It
We're in
makes
that
me feel
power.
so sensual.
Yeah, this is the go-to suit. This is the suit you want, guys. Forget that power suit. It's all about the various suit.
Forget that gravity suit, forget that Phazon suit. Fuck all of them.
Well, they all carry the same design, so in my mind, it's always the various. The various suit is always the base one for me, or the go-to one is what I'm trying to say. What else was I gonna say? Just forgot. Yeah, actually, no. I was gonna say I wasn't a huge fan of Metroid 2, but I mean, we have to thank Metroid 2 for the various suits design, just because the only reason why they decided to make the shoulders bigger was because it was in black and white. That's the only reason why they decided to change the suit, the style of the suit, so you could
Yes.
distinguish it from the power suit.
Although I think in Super Metroid the designs were pretty much identical aside from color scheme. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
this is the
Actually,
first
no,
one
no.
that
The power
actually had the
suit.
distinction. Hmm?
I'm trying to think. Actually, was it? Yeah, actually, no. I think you're right. They were the same, weren't they? Yeah, it's just the color.
Yeah. But still, we wouldn't have the big hulking shoulders if it weren't for Metroid 2, like you
Hmm.
said.
Yeah, I don't know. In terms of suit designs, what did you prefer over Prime One? Or actually, out of which of the Prime series were your favorite suits in?
Fusion.
Fusion, really.
That design just makes
I,
the most sense. It doesn't have any giant shoulders that don't seem to serve any purpose. The suit's just sleek and
yeah,
good for her fighting style.
yeah, it does look much sleeker. But I don't know. I always thought the morph ball was linked to the shoulders for some reason. Well, I can imagine a lot of people would because it sort of has a similar design. But I don't know. Then again, we'll never know how the morph works. It's better, probably better not to question video game logic, but I don't know. Me personally, I think I preferred Prime 2. I really hate the dark suit at first, but I got used to those yo-yo shoulders and it became my favorite.
That's surprising. I don't think I've
Uh,
ever heard anyone say that.
yeah, it was really, I don't know. At first, like I was saying, I really hated the designs in Prime 2, but it really caught on, really caught on for me. I think the light suit as well, I didn't mind that as well. It looks quite streamlined as well, really sleek design. But with those knees, like it's so sharp, it's like it can poke someone's eye out. It's good.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
ridiculous.
was as well with the PED suit in Prime 3. I wasn't a huge fan of them. I don't know if it was just me, but
I
I
liked
don't know.
it
They look
only after it
so
got corrupted. Because then it started to look really
yeah,
cool, especially when you get those acid rain shoulders.
really. Oh man, I was just about to say I didn't like the acid rain shoulders, but each to their own.
Not many people talk
But
about
anyway,
Prime
is that missile
3.
expansion that you missed? Hmm. I don't know. Not many. It's always usually Prime 1 and 2 that I hear talk when people talk about the best one.
3 is probably my
I don't
favorite
know
of
if
the Prime trilogy, just because of the art direction
really.
and overall gameplay. And the AI is just better.
Wow. You see, if the motion controls worked for me perfectly, or I mean, it's more of my fault because I didn't set it up properly. I didn't calibrate the motion controls properly. But for me, my first experience with Prime 3 is I didn't like it too much because of the motion controls. Like, it didn't work out for me. And I sort of thought, like, the whole grapple beam pulling stuff as well, I sort of thought they, shoehorned it in just to show off the motion controls in there. Because, it's pretty cool the first few times, but when they're having to, like, constantly rip off the doors all the time and stuff, it sort of got to me. I don't know. It's just me. What do you think of that stuff?
Um, Kinda indifferent. I think the nunchuck's just kinda finicky in general. I
Yeah.
might have misheard what you said, though.
Oh, what does the? Yeah, no, I was saying like the whole ripping off the doors and that, like having to
Uh,
constantly waggle the nunchuck and that.
yeah, the nunchuck is finicky. That was
Mm.
probably the worst part about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Definitely.
not gonna lie, I did like the idea about how you could like take energy from enemies using using the grapple beam and stuff that they introduced in Prime 3, which I thought was pretty cool. Just because you like rarely ever used the grapple beam other than that, other than swinging rather, in the first two, but either way.
I was actually a bit surprised to see that thing show up again.
Yeah, I don't remember it coming back again, but that's just my memory for you.
There was also something else that surprised me in this run through, but I'll just mention it when we get there.
Okay. Yeah, especially since you have missiles now as well. I'm sure that'll just make taking this guy out so much easier.
So much easier. Yeah, missile expansion. We're gonna be coming back to this room a lot.
Really?
Yeah, there's
Oh, of
like
course,
two
yeah.
more things to get over here.
Yeah, no, actually, yeah, I saw those. I saw that half pipe there. Hint, hint.
Yeah, there was a jump cut to another expansion.
Ah, right.
This is where I was wandering around a lot.
Still using that morphball jump, I see.
Yep, the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, it's funny actually. I haven't gotten too far through Prime 2 yet, but I can imagine Spider Guardian is going to be a lot easier with the just being able to push the Wii remote up like that.
True.
Let's see. So you have to destroy that block underneath, right?
I'm not really a big fan of the spider ball, personally.
Yeah, you know what? It's like I think like I'm playing through Metroid 2 at the moment, but I'm just thinking like it's so fun to use in Metroid 2 just because you can like spider ball to literally any surface. I mean, thinking about it in the 3D primes, that would be completely overpowered. But
I'm
yeah,
sure
no, I get
speedrunners would love it.
absolutely. But I'm sure there'd be a lot of glitches associated with that as well. Rolling out of the map. Good. I can
Yeah,
imagine
now
it
we
now.
are descending into Magmore Caverns.
Yes, and there's another lovely elevator scene here. Here you go, guys. You can take in that Bavaria suit in all its greatness.
I I like how Salmon just kind of looks around cautiously when she's going down.
Yeah, no, nice. Another nice little detail that they added in.
This game just has all kinds of nice details. I don't think they up-resed any of the textures for this. I think this is
Yeah,
all
it
the
doesn't.
old textures.
Yeah, that was one of my complaints as well. It's like some of the textures on the walls and stuff. It just looks really dated.
I think it
But
looks surprisingly good given the age.
I think it looks decent, like compared to a lot of other games of its time. But I mean, even now, I can still tell that some of the textures don't look that good. I mean, it's not as bad
Yeah.
as the landing site. I don't think there are any textures worse than that on the landing site. But
Yeah, I think the level geometry helps out a lot with the textures, just because it keeps things visually interesting.
mm, yeah, there's that as well.
Like how they have all those pipes running around, and all the different stuff jutting out of the walls.
Yeah, no, definitely ahead of its time.
I wish more games would attempt this. The only other 3D
Yeah.
Metroidvania I can think of is Dark Souls.
Mm.
How's
Dark
that
Souls.
playthrough going, by the way?
You know what? Man, I just haven't gotten around to playing that much else of it. You know, it's crazy because, like, I invited my friend round a few weeks after I got Dark Souls, and keep in mind, I was playing it like, I think I played it 2 or 3 times over the span of like 5 hours or something, and my friend pretty much just completely just destroyed my record. He like got to where I was in like a good hour and a half, which probably shows that I wasn't really playing it that efficiently, but. I mean, it's exactly like you said. It's a difficult game, but it's mostly just about preparing yourself, and which is something that I definitely wasn't doing well enough. But I mean, I'll definitely get around to playing it again. It's just I was moving on to other projects at the time, and
Fair enough.
you really have to invest a lot of time into Dark Souls, I think, to get the most out of it.
Yeah, it takes well over 30 hours to beat it,
Yeah, it's funny because
especially on the first run.
yeah, I can imagine. It's funny because I'm sure I was reading some reviews online and stuff, and people telling me like, oh, you should definitely get this. I believe is it the Draco sword or something you can get from beating a dragon if you destroy its tail or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but there was some particular sword, and they were like, okay, so you'll get the Draco sword a good 20 hours into the game, and that's where the experience will really start. And I'm like, what? 20 hours into the game? It's like, how long is this game? But I mean. Longer game isn't a negative. Get better value for money, I guess. But
I hate these
I'm just trying to give a
things.
scope of like, oh god, these, yeah. Can't you use a morph ball bomb? Like, never mind.
Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't
Are they
want to pay attention to the morph ball bombs. There it goes.
are they? Ah, right.
Are they what?
Okay then. No, actually, I was gonna say just as he destroyed one, I was gonna say are they invincible, but apparently not.
Only when they're eating,
Let's see.
apparently.
Yeah.
I feel like I wandered around here trying to find expansion. Yeah, I didn't edit
Yeah, I
this
know that
part
one
just
of
because I
them
actually
can't.
found something.
Ah, right.
It took me a while to
Yeah, I'm
find
trying
the
to think.
opening.
Can you actually complete this puzzle now, or do you need another item?
Oh, you just need the morph ball and bombs,
Ah,
fortunately.
good.
The hard
Oh,
part's
nice.
finding the opening.
Yeah, no, like I was.
It's like, where the hell
Oh,
is it?
ah,
There we
there we
go.
go.
These bugs gave me a lot of
Are
trouble, though.
everywhere. You can't escape them. You
Yep.
can't escape the wrath of the bugs.
They're so
God.
tedious to deal with. It's
I
horrible.
don't remember them being this annoying, but
I'm
there you
probably
go.
just bad at dealing with them.
I mean, what are your thoughts in general on the morph bomb puzzles in this game?
Not too bad. They work pretty well. I think there was like one expansion that gave me a bit of trouble. I think it was like an energy tank that's in the Magmore Caverns that I'm getting on the way to Finjana Drifts. I don't know if you remember the one I'm talking about, but it like required a double bomb jump
I
over
think I
breaking
can.
platforms.
Oh, I think I can loosely remember. Actually, yeah, I think I do remember. I'll definitely remember once I see it. It will come back to me, but
Yeah, I'll
I
definitely
can
point it
only.
out when we get there. We're not too far off.
Ah, right. Okay then. But yeah, no, for me personally, the morph ball puzzles were like one of the greatest things for me in this game, just because it broke away from the standard gameplay. It's just not running and gunning all the time. At least some variety. And like I was saying, actually no, did I say this before? Yeah, they're not too they're not too difficult, but still a nice challenge, I'd say.
Kind of makes you sad that people avoid this game just because it's a first-person game.
Yeah, it's funny because one of my friends, I was trying to convince them to play Metroid as well, and he's like, oh, he doesn't like first-person shooters. He just didn't like them at all. And I was like, but Metroid Prime is so much more than that. And he was like, yeah, I think I'll pass anyway. Which is probably the basis of why I decided to do my first review. So yeah, thank you. Thank you, friend. You know who you are.
Did the review convince him?
No, it didn't. But maybe, I don't know, maybe he'll try and check it out in the future. He was saying he wouldn't play it, because I did let him borrow it at one point, but I don't think he got round to playing that much of it. He's quite a big fan of the 2D ones, though. I can sort of understand why some people wouldn't want to make the jump, but again, like we were saying, it's not just running and gunning. There is some elements of puzzles to Metroid.
And exploration. Don't forget the
absolutely.
exploration.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm assuming he's at least watched gameplay of it before, right?
Oh yeah, no, of course he's seen gameplay of it. I don't think he's seen too much, but he has a good idea of what it's about now.
That's fortunate. Maybe he'll play it in the future or something.
Hopefully. But he's mostly an RPG guy.
Yeah, same with Michael. He also hasn't played all the way through this just because he's not into this type of game.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. It's not for everyone, but I mean, if you're interested, I'd recommend everyone try it out, at least at some point in their life.
Yeah, except for Prime 2. I wouldn't recommend that to anyone, personally.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd recommend Prime 2, but it's just the whole, not
Dark
as a
World.
starting point, because it's a lot more difficult.
Yeah. It's like I'd recommend Prime 3
want-
or 1 over it any day.
If you want an easier experience with a game involving Dark Worlds, go to A Link to the Past.
Or Link Between Worlds.
Oh yeah, Link Between Worlds as well.
But I guess it's not technically the Dark World. It's low rule.
Yeah, actually, well, it's sort of is dark, isn't it? It's like the evil version in a way.
Sorta. I really
Well,
like
well, it
Link
turns-
Between Worlds.
I love that game.
Like-
This is so ridiculous, but when I got the new 3DS the other day, I played through A Link to the Link Between Worlds. I got right up to the final boss, well, pretty much the final dungeon where you have to like retrieve those orbs and all that stuff. But anyway, we got to the final dungeon, just outside the final boss room, and I was like, you know what? I'll get home before I fight the next boss. And then once I got home, I got the new 3DS and everything. This is the same day I got the new 3DS, so I decided to transfer all of my data, and I ended up accidentally overwriting that data. So I had to start all the way from the beginning of the game again. I was like, screw this, I'm just going to watch some YouTube videos. But really disappointing that I never got to finish the final boss. And I just finished getting all those squids, I believe, the things that you need to upgrade your weapons and that. I invested so much time into that game only to have it all taken away before my eyes. But
I love the upgraded fire rod. That thing is fantastic.
that thing is at
It just
did any creep boss
demolishes
battles?
everything.
Yeah, especially if you get that before you go to one of the ice temples. It's just absolute destruction.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, back to Metroid. I think you're going to, is it oh wait, no, still in Magma Caverns. Don't you need
Yep.
the spider ball for this section?
Yeah. That's why I was heading back. I think I go into Tallon Overworld briefly to get a power-up, and then I leave again.
Ah, right.
I feel like
Okay,
I
then.
edit this part a bit. I can't remember if I did.
Ah, right. Is this going straight back to the overworld here?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
And then we're going to Fendrana Drifts.
Right.
I always feel like I'm pronouncing that wrong.
Yeah, no, I've always called it Fendrana Drifts. I just, I've sort of gotten to the point where I just don't care whether I'm pronouncing this stuff wrong. I'm sure I probably butcher a lot of this stuff, but I've just gotten to the point where I just pronounce it as anyway. Hell, I even change it sometimes every time I pronounce certain things. Oh man, there's a really trolly placed missile expansion there.
You know, it's really trolly is the entrance into Phazon Mines, which has something similar but with Phazon, but there's no missile expansion.
Wow.
Yeah, I was
I
really
think I remember
frustrated.
that actually.
You jumped under there too.
Yeah, I think I'm willing to bet that the majority of gamers that discovered that part did as well.
That was like a huge fuck you moment. It's like, oh, you want an expansion? Piss off.
Oh man.